It's estimated that there are currently over 3,000 African Americans living in Ghana, with that number steadily increasing. This migration trend is being fueled by a variety of factors, including a desire to reconnect with ancestral roots and escape racial tensions and political turmoil in the United States.
Mama kwa ba di chiason kumamo eba Spade TV so unity in diversity aha say Kasapreko na se nya brebia munim no se edu weekend say ya yedom asuko ekọ nienti a Black Americans for omutumi fro mu krom eba Ghana ha se bebo nsese wa ha na se omunya asetena kora mpo ewa ha na ebi mu ba se omo behwe ye tourist attraction ebi mu so ba so omo ba betena se na se short stay ene no pese ye domo esuko na yetie nienti a omutumi eja kro na dodo na ye wo Ghana ha na ebibimam ye pese ye omutumi ja ho eba se omomomo ba ha na omne ya ba betena na ansa na no arebia kai se Sunbest Healthcare e no mo son ya sen
Sunbest Healthcare.
Hello, abusiafo. But Sunbest medicated powder. Now honyo form. Hey, say when a man in swans one yes is you. Never good out at all. About cock, I'm a what
Or
it's what now I'm why you say a crow. Take a career, a yam, a crow, a juniper bosso, and nunye. Sunbest medicated ointment, a beb wow.
My possum, to me.
Who when Pedro be onia meant na ho ma honam ya enwu wanim ase what posso complaining na et so betwa koto Sunbest herbal balm ye from mama Sunbest products edutwem
Obenya Sunbest products our pharmacies any herbal shops name to phone friend 0551 907 393 FDA agidwadi enkratoya yatum
me mama kwa ba se ne medi nkan eyi maso tire no se o man mu ebe hu an se Black Americans for na brofo kura abotwo abagana na ewo a na yedwen se adan Ghana for ye wo tourist attraction na se wo enema bi abrofo no ani gi hu ni ntina mo ba ha se ya na ne ba be ya kire mu aye fa free pristine historian ewo ntentan no so no o tire ye kwan sonko kura sa obeje di se actors fo bi ti se Idris Eba a wa gini din ye pa ada hu se sa na se free Ghana ha se iti onani afoforo bi ni nkrofo bebre eba ye so mo ba betena se afebo kura na se ne medi nkankan no pristine historian for eno de sumi ye nhwemre sisia.
Do you know that African American superstars such as Naomi Campbell, Idris Elba, and Cheryl Lee Ralph are moving back to Africa and, specifically, to settle permanently in Ghana? If not? Well, then, you're in for a treat. Today we're going to be exploring this exciting phenomenon and figuring out what's causing so many people to make the big move. Ghana, for those who don't know, is a beautiful country located in West Africa. It's known for its rich culture, beautiful beaches, and bustling cities. But what's really fascinating is that Ghana is becoming a hotspot for African American migration. So why is this important? Well, for starters, it's a sign of a changing world. People are becoming more mobile and connected than ever before, and it's creating new opportunities for cultural exchange and collaboration. But beyond that, there are some really interesting and important reasons why African Americans are choosing to move to Ghana. Some are looking to escape racial injustice and political turmoil back home. Others are seeking a stronger sense of community and cultural connection. And still, others are simply drawn in by the beauty and excitement of this vibrant country. So, whether you're an African American considering a move to Ghana or just someone interested in learning more about this fascinating trend, you're in the right place. Be sure to like, share, and comment below to join the conversation. And let's get started. Historical context. Alright, let's take a trip down memory lane and explore the historical context behind African American migration to Africa, specifically Ghana. The Back to Africa movement dates back to the late 18th century when some African Americans, disillusioned with the racial injustices and discrimination they faced in the United States, sought to establish new lives in Africa. One notable example is the establishment of Liberia, a West African country founded by freed American slaves in 1822. However, despite the initial promise of these movements, many faced difficulties in adjusting to life in Africa and creating sustainable communities. But the legacy of slavery and colonialism continued to impact African American identity and culture, and the desire for a return to Africa persisted. Fast forward to the 20th century, and we see renewed interest in African American migration to Africa, including Ghana. It's estimated that there are currently over 3,000 African Americans living in Ghana, with that number steadily increasing. This migration trend is being fueled by a variety of factors, including a desire to reconnect with ancestral roots and escape racial tensions and political turmoil in the United States. But the impact of slavery and colonialism can still be felt in Ghana today. For example, the legacy of the transatlantic slave trade is still visible in the many forts and castles along the Ghanaian coast that were used to imprison and transport enslaved Africans. And the effects of colonialism are seen in the country's economic and political landscape, including the continued influence of Western powers. However, Ghana is also a country with a rich cultural heritage and a vibrant contemporary scene, and many African Americans are drawn to the possibilities of cultural exchange and collaboration. Whether it's exploring traditional Ghanaian music and dance or engaging in business and education opportunities, there's no shortage of exciting experiences to be had in this fascinating country. So, while the historical context of African American migration to Ghana is complex and multifaceted, it's clear that the desire to connect with one's heritage and create a new sense of belonging continues to motivate many people today. Current trends and motivations. Alright, let's dive into the current trends and motivations behind African American migration to Ghana. First off, the numbers don't lie. According to a recent report, there's been a significant uptick in African American migration to Ghana in recent years. In fact, between 2012 and 2019, the number of African American visitors to Ghana increased by a whopping 1,000%. And many of these visitors, including celebrities such as Michael Jai White, Stevie Wonder, and Rosario Dawson, are choosing to stay long-term or even permanently. So what's driving this trend? Well, there are a few key factors at play. For starters, political disillusionment and racial injustice in the United States are pushing many African Americans to seek out new opportunities and experiences abroad. Ghana, with its stable political climate and diverse cultural landscape, is an attractive option for those looking to escape the stress and turmoil of life in America. But it's not just about running away from something. Many African Americans are also drawn to Ghana by the prospect of creating a new sense of community and cultural connection. With its rich history and the vibrant contemporary scene, Ghana offers endless opportunities for exploration and collaboration. And for those who are seeking a deeper connection to their ancestral roots, Ghana can be a powerful place of healing and discovery. One example of this trend is the increasing popularity of Year of Return events in Ghana, which encourage African Americans to visit the country and explore its cultural offerings. For example, Ghana has promoted music festivals by legendary musicians such as SZA, Kendrick Lamar, and Gabrielle Union, more black celebs, and thus fueling a wave of travel to Ghana. And for those who do make a move, there are plenty of resources available to help them integrate into Ghanaian society, from language classes to business networks. Challenges and considerations. Okay, so we've talked about some of the exciting reasons why African Americans are moving back to Ghana, but it's important to acknowledge that there are also challenges and considerations to keep in mind. For starters, moving to a new country is never easy, and Ghana is no exception. African Americans may experience culture shock as they adjust to new customs and ways of life. It's important to be patient and open-minded during this transition period and to seek out resources and support as needed. Another challenge to consider is navigating the legal system in Ghana. Laws and regulations may be different than what African Americans are accustomed to in the United States. It's important to do your research and seek out legal advice if needed to ensure that you're complying with all necessary regulations. Perhaps the most important consideration for African Americans moving to Ghana is understanding and respecting Ghanaian culture and customs. Ghana has a rich and diverse cultural landscape, and it's essential to approach this with an open mind and a willingness to learn. This means being respectful of local traditions, adapting to new social norms, and recognizing the value of Ghanaian perspectives and ways of life. One way to navigate these challenges is by seeking out resources and support networks. There are organizations and communities in Ghana that are dedicated to helping African Americans integrate into Ghanaian society, such as language classes and cultural exchange programs. It's also important to build relationships with local Ghanaians and to seek out opportunities for cross-cultural exchange and collaboration. So while there are certainly challenges to consider when moving to Ghana, it's important to approach this with a positive and open-minded attitude. By taking the time to understand and appreciate Ghanaian culture and seeking out support and resources as needed, African Americans can enjoy a rich and rewarding experience in this vibrant and welcoming country. Conclusion. And there you have it, folks. Exploring why so many African Americans are moving back to Ghana is a fascinating topic. Discussing the historical context of African American migration to Africa, including the Back to Africa movement and the establishment of Liberia, is critical to understanding the history of African immigration back into their ancestral continent. The current trends and motivations that are driving African Americans to move to Ghana include political disillusionment, racial injustice, and a desire for cultural connection. Moving to a new country comes with its own set of challenges, such as culture shock and navigating a new legal system. It's important to approach this with an open mind and a willingness to learn and to seek out resources and support as needed. Ultimately, this topic is important because it speaks to issues of identity, culture, and belonging that is relevant to so many people today. By exploring the experiences of African Americans in Ghana, we can gain a deeper understanding of the complex and diverse ways that people navigate issues of race, history, and migration. So keep learning about and engaging with these important issues. Let's continue to have conversations and build connections across borders and cultures.
Otu omen mu abribia meka obeka se Ghana ha de edian na wa ha sei. Na sorry a why connections ya na utue sika kase e de ko obi man so. Hwese ne ye kokora mpo na procedures obefam krampo ansa na wako. Eso ndo mo ba ni ajo ma wa etu. Omo nante ye bibia se ne omo pe. Na migidi se wa hwei wonso afa afutu sem afirimu se kro na otimu no enye kro a aginsem sa ye ne ebeboa na ayeye yesusu se ye de ye ni beto omampani bi so no no de ya to abana mano no nafu ene na no ene odwene ho tie nyina ye moa no menye kra behwe na nipa bebre a mo chense ekrampo no emra na omone ye metna sokode ena mede dwumadie esomo Spade Healthcare. So wo honamani how be a wontumi nsha atade a wo pe na wontumi nkodwom chese ojam ekro eni fifrinsua etete wa mekanfo medicated powder no eno na najo anabra wonko baabia na odi asra afenso medicated ointment no wetumi di asra te se wunku heba bam no nso ahotutuo wopono aposo nyina ya oya bibia huna na se bibia atwa wonso a mekanfo heba bam ne di ama se fa ne nyina ye so na enche bia ho beto okra.
Hello, abusiafo. But Sunburst medicated powder. Now honyo form. Hey, say when many swans one yes see. Never good na to ebe ko ama ho ato. Odo. Hey, tell me. It's what now ama why you say? Ekro. sɛ kakarere ɛyam ɛkoro agye onipadua aboso ɛno nie Sunbest medicated ointment ɛbɛboa
maposo mihunam nyinaa tutu me
ihu we ni Pedro biye onua ment na ho ma honam ya ehu w'anim ase waposo complain nyina etso betwa koto Sunbest herbal balm ye from mama Sunbest products edutwem
Obenya Sunbest products our pharmacies any herbal shops name at to phone friend 0551 907 393 FDA agidwadi nkra atuya tum